To open your eye, you have to free your mind and open your mind. Okay, now what is good is before I really said that there is a real world and that this is not the real world and that there is a real world. Okay, now normally at this point in one's life, we only fumble and formulate these non-sequel, you know, factor non grata um, a priori syllogisms. So you could also call that an anecdote, but in the strangest way, it is for life that we are saying these things. So you would have to see that sometimes when you think too much about something which you're supposed to let go of, then it is for this same purpose in life. So what we see is that there's none ahead of us causing our progress but our engines within us. And how did we design these engines? With gears and screws and levers and valves and what's his face pistons. So this is how you know that sometimes a thing which doesn't need fuel might need fuel or might need fuel because it's somehow it goes from it somehow goes from the place where it is designing itself to the place where it has designed itself. And in doing this, or by doing so, or to do so, it has to you know it has to just get that design or that which it has designed, and it is the same damn thing. It's like an update to an extant program or software, but there's no such thing as program again, or so they say, because what is known as program is the same damn design for the thing which needs to keep going. So in other words, what we are saying is to keep going. This silly salamander, or a bean which is called bean I, or bean E, or bean Y, or bean X, or bean A, or bean B, might need to just continue talking or to just continue propagating these free waves so that it can so that there can be free waves. You understand? So it's just for the sake of free waves. And now it's the same then creation of the engine, which is not allowing it to free its mind enough to see that there are seven free waves which could be freed or could be harnessed if it was freed within itself or without it. So, most importantly, what we don't need to do is just keep spilling the same old rubbish or reading or chatting the same old rubbish. But what's most importantly needs to be done is for one to just, see the rubbish which he or she chats as rubbish enough to continue chatting rubbish. So you even have to see your rubbish as rubbish enough for it to even continue being rubbish, because we already know that without it being rubbish, it will not be rubbish. So even rubbish knows that it has to be rubbish. And there's just no rubbish in rubbish because it is rubbish. And rubbish, which rubbish is rubbish, is just, it's just going to lead to what I'm saying, which is that we must know the importance of rubbish. And that is so strange because to know the importance of rubbish, you must first stop using your mind. And what is it here that I'm saying? What is it that I'm saying here? I'm saying that there is a sort of an angelic realm where there's an alien sort of feeling, because feelings themselves wouldn't let feelings be without feelings or without feeling. So some feelings know that they need to be let be, and as it is felt, so we feel them that they need to be let be. But other feelings just won't let them be. So why do we feel this way? It is the same need. It is the same need, which you have for the alien feeling. So the alien feeling is the feeling which you want to feel. But in order to feel this feeling, you need to understand that there's feelings which are holding you back, and there's feelings which basically are holding you back. So now those feelings, you might want to feel as if, or you might feel as if those feelings are combatants to other feelings. But in this alien feeling which I speak about, there's none which is combatant. So what I am really saying is that normally there's a design for rubbish, and there's also a design for non-design or no design, which is just it's just no it's not a design. And since it is not a design, it cannot even be a design in the first place to even be rubbish. So you see, that is why you see that in this case, everyone will keep running back to their designs, which is what I'm saying. How about just just continuing to do rubbish? You know what I mean? Because that's his understanding that your rubbish is important. I hope there's communication. And now, more importantly, after you found that out and you find out there is a real and an alien world which can be accessed, and you don't need to let go of your rubbish, then you see that in truth you had always been right, but it is the same rubbish about the same rubbish which is not letting you see the rubbish. So why aren't you seeing the rubbish? It's the same damn rubbish. So why do you even need to see the rubbish? And what is the need to see rubbish? We see there's so much need to see rubbish because we are fortunate enough to experience rubbish. And if that's the case, we must see that the designer for rubbish is one hell of a genius, which is where we come to admit that this is the point where we get the alien feeling. And that alien feeling cannot be it cannot be contrite. It cannot be um inundated to a specific percolation of sorts, which just allows it to continue percolating but will not be rubbish or will not be an alien feeling or even let go of the rubbish. So in the normal sense, what it is the acceptance of the fact that we are all rubbish. Not just you, but the designer of rubbish as well. And if that said is the case, then what might we say is the purpose of rubbish, or is the rubbish in the first place? Then we see that the rubbish is this world which we live in. But the real rubbish is the same damn thing. It's the world. So we create the rubbish and then we are happy because we know that we are creating rubbish. Now, to be more arrant or adamant to this perspective, all I'm going to say is that there's a certain genius which lies within seeing rubbish for what it is and within just seeing that for what it is and just understanding that. And that genius is which just, you know, it doesn't need to see the rubbish. It doesn't even need rubbish. And all it needs is just, you know, that former development perspective of the ancients, which was that there was just this real world which existed without rubbish. And that real world is there's no need to genetically modify being or life for there to be more life or for there to be life. But when we see a being which is alive, then we see this is a genetically modified being or it's a doctored universe. Then we see that this must be a genius thing or it's a beautiful thing. Then it leads us into thinking. So after thinking for a long time, we might just cleverly see the genius or realize we are just thinking for no reason. Then we see the genius. So it's so genius that it's marvelous actually. It's marvelous actually. It's the most marvelous thing because you cannot admit that there is a chicken in a box which is within a chicken which you are in, and that chicken is not even the chicken which you are going to get, but the chicken which is coming to get you. But in that way, play becomes cheating for both sides, for both parties. So if I create you and you realize that you were created, or you realize that I am a creator, I see that as cheating for both of us. I see that as cheating for both of us because it's the most cheating ever. Oh god. Oh god. So if that's the case, then why do we need to do rubbish? As might ask the foreseeing one. So what is truth? Truth is when we go back to the past to do the same thing. Or somebody told me that if he asks somebody a question and another person confirms it and another person confirms it, then that is truth. Then I'm saying that, well, for your confirmation bias, there could just be that same research sample probability that there's the statistic which is variable in that probability. So it leaves us to the case to decide. What then is this truth that we are going back to? You know, it's this the strangest thing. It's the strangest thing. It's the same rubbish. It's the same need to do rubbish. So if you see rubbish, it's rubbish. Everybody sees rubbish and it's rubbish. It's just rubbish. So if it's rubbish, then the genius of such a man to do such rubbish would be to just be the truth in that situation whereby he is doing rubbish. And that is the genius of that situation. And if he is the truth and he realizes the truth and he realizes he is the truth, then you see that, well, it might not be rubbish after all. And there might be a sort of beneficial thing or benevolence which might be got from rubbish. Now, that is the meditation for the morning, and that we are already here and that we are doing rubbish is an understatement, and that there is a way where there will not be rubbish. It's also something which one might just say is the most rubbish. So what is this rubbish? It's rubbish actually. So